Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again. Hey, what is going on? Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Welcome to another episode of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. The OTC Player of the Week is back, and 2023's first recipient is University of Minnesota commit Cameron Chard. Cameron hit .636 with 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 5 runs scored while playing with the starters 16U National Smite team last weekend at the H&C HFL Alliance National Qualifier in Woodbury, Minnesota. Fantastic job, Cameron. Best of luck moving forward, and of course with the Golden Gophers. On to this week's guest, and we sat down and chatted with University of North Texas and University of Oklahoma alum and current member of the USSSA Pride of the WPF, Hope Trautwein. Hope has had a remarkable career to date. She is a 2022 national champion with the Sooners, where she would also be named to the Women's College World Series All-Tournament Team. She was a 2022 All-Big 12 First Team selection, was named the 2021 Conference USA Pitcher of the Year, and is also the only player in NCAA Division I history to ever throw an immaculate perfect game with 21 strikeouts. We're going to talk to Hope about getting her start in the game, her unorthodox recruiting process to North Texas, that crazy 21 strikeout perfect game performance in April of 2021, of course last year's national title with the Sooners, joining the Pride in the newly formed WPF, and much, much more. Hope was an absolute pleasure to chat with. I know everyone's going to enjoy this episode. I can't wait to see what's in store for her in 2023. And hey, if you're already this far in, why not subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and go give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to make sure you don't miss a thing from us here at OTC. We're constantly posting awesome softball content. Now come on, hurry up, go follow us. Anyway, now with that being said, grab that drink, sit back, relax, because here we go.
I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
Here we go. We are happy to have on with us today 2022 national champion with the Oklahoma Sooners, current member of the USSSA Pride in the WPF, and the only player in NCAA Division I history to throw an immaculate perfect game with 21 Ks, the one and only Hope Trautwein. Hope, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are things going down in the great state of Texas?
It's pretty nice so far. Unseasonably warm, but can't complain.
Yeah, you were saying that before we start recording here, your mom's 60th birthday, had a little gathering at the beach?
Yes, the whole family was in on it. She had no idea. We rented a beach house and went down there, and she had a blast. It was awesome.
Nice, nice. How many were you of, the family was there?
I believe there were 21 of us there.
Oh, wow.
A lot of aunts, uncles, cousins. The whole family showed up.
Wow, nice. Now, was that something, to go along with the holidays, or was that after Christmas?
Oh, it was right after New Year's. So we celebrated New Year's, and then I have a cousin who's born on New Year's Day, and then we just went to the beach right after. Oh. And she had no idea.
Wow, a lot of family events going on at one time there. So how were the holidays?
Oh, they were great. I mean, this time of year is my favorite because I'm away most of the year in Oklahoma, and then I get to come home and just enjoy the holidays. So it's pretty great.
Right on. Now, before we get to the first segment on the podcast here, I got to talk about the YouTube video with Eric Sim because it's still fresh in my mind. First off, I got to say that home run was foul. Like,
I thought so too, but he says hit track.
Come on. The way you come off the bat, like that. If that was out in the open field, that would have pulled foul. Like, come on. Come on, Eric. And the other thing that I was like, why the frig does that catcher not wearing a cup? Like, what was he doing?
I know. I was scared, honestly, but he held up well. He had a couple incidents here and there, but he ended up all right.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, that one that got him was a changeup. Because he would not be walking. He would not be walking. So how did that come about with Eric?
Oh, I've watched Eric for forever. I've watched all his TikToks, and my cousin originally showed me and was like, "Hey, you should just like DM him and see." And so a couple of my friends and we DM'd him, and they were like, "Hey, you should check out Hope Trautwein. Like, she just won a national champion, pro pitcher." And then I DM'd him, and he was like, "Oh yeah," he was like, "I'm so into softball. Like, I'd love to have you out." And so like I flew out there, and they were so welcoming, and we had so much fun. Really big, like, fun group of guys, good group of guys. And we made a lot of really fun content. Oh man,
it definitely, it was awesome to watch. And like you said, it seemed like they were a great group of guys for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like that you beamed him at the end, just for good measure.
I told him, I said, "I'm gonna hit you one of these at bats, and you're not gonna go know when, and you're not gonna know like where I'm gonna hit you." And he knew it was. I got 10 at bats against him, and it was our last at bat, and I still hadn't hit him yet. And so he knew it was coming, and he dodged the first 2 pitches that were coming right at him, and then I finally hit him. And he was a good sport about it. He wanted to know what it felt like, and so it was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, you got him in a good spot too. I mean that.
Yes.
I mean, he stuck it out there. So. All right, so I got a little thing that we do with every episode here. To start off, we call it quick pitches. I'm going to throw out some, just random questions to you, and answer them as best you can.
Okay.
All right, first one. I always start with this one. If you had to live off one food for a week, what is it?
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches?
You can put anything in a sandwich.
Yeah, good point. So, yeah, I guess you can switch it up.
I love sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think anybody's ever said that before. Wow.
Thank you.
All right. Best thing about growing up in Texas?
I think the Texas culture. Everyone loves being a Texan.
Yeah. I had the chance to go to Texas once. I was supposed to play in a fast pitch tournament down there, but I had something happened to family, and I ended up not being able to go down. And I really wish I could have, because that would have been my chance to get to Texas, and I really would like to get down there.
The thing about Texas is everyone thinks that being a Texan is the best thing ever, and that we're better than everyone else. I love that.
That's proper way to be. What? Yeah. Next one here. Biggest thing you love at Oklahoma?
Oh, definitely the people. Everyone's so friendly and welcoming, and they love them some Sooners, and I love being part of that community. Right on. Next,
what's your go-to song to get you motivated?
Okay, I love Britney Spears.
Brit.
I love her. I've loved her since I was a kid, and pretty much anything by her, I love her.
So you're getting ready for a game and Hit Me Baby One More Time. You got to put that on.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Oops, I did it again.
Yes.
That's awesome. If you could go back and play one game again, what one is it?
I think I would want to relive the national championship game.
Oh,
that one,
why
it
not?
Was so full of energy, and that was my favorite game I think I've played.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to talk about that later on here. Do you have any superstitions or rituals before a game?
My hair has to be in a braid.
Okay.
That's the one rule I have. There are some really, really superstitious people out there. A lot of superstition comes from our team, but I do my hair the exact same way every single time. Even now that I'm out of college, I do it the same. And I feel like if I change it up, I'm like, oh, well, that's why everything that comes out of it is because there's a braid in my hair or there isn't.
Yeah. Hey, that's what athletes are like, though. I mean, it's just silly things like that. I mean, like with me, everything, I got to go everything on the left side on first, like left sock, left pant leg, left cleat. You know what I mean? Like, now it's just, it's just how I'm programmed. Even like everyday dress, I got to put my left leg in first, and it's just silly things like that. I don't know why, but that's what athletes do.
That's funny.
2 more here.
Okay.
Favorite University of North Texas uniform combination?
Oh my goodness. So my freshman year, we wore pinstripes. White with black pinstripes.
Oh, nice.
And I loved that uniform.
Nice.
But we also had the black on black uniform, and that one was
Those are sharp.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw
and
that.
I don't think they wear pinstripes anymore. But I loved my pinstripe uniform my freshman year before we got new coaches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything ball related with pinstripes, I think is sharp.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so classic. It's so clean.
Yeah. I think I hate the Yankees, but it's true. I mean, it's a Yankee thing. But anyway, last one here. How shocked were you to get proposed to at the Dallas Mavericks game?
Oh my goodness. This is my favorite story to tell people.
I love the video, by the way. That was amazing.
Thank you. I think that was just the best because I had no idea it was, we had to go through a lot of hoops to make that happen.
Oh, no doubt.
In the first place, because I threw the 21 strikeout perfect game. And the week after, it was Mark Cuban called my head coach and was like, let's have the team out. But, at the time it wasn't NIL. We weren't allowed to take any extra benefits. Right. So we had to file a waiver through the NCAA before the game even happened. So the game was on a Tuesday and we filed this waiver like on a Sunday, and we didn't get approved till like that day.
Wow.
So we didn't even know that if we could go, and my family was trying to come up. But my parents had COVID at the time. So it turned out my fiance Dom had to go to my house with like a mask, and my parents were on the opposite side of the house, and he showed them the ring from like down the hallway, and then he drove up later, and him and my head coach and my best friend, they all made it happen within like 1 to 2 days.
Wow.
So many hoops, and I was already so excited and so caught off guard with, being called by Mark Cuban in the first place.
Yeah, really.
The whole honoring thing. I was just like living in a dream. And then this happened, and it truly was one of the best days of my life. And it's one of my favorite stories to tell. No doubt. I mean, if anybody wants to see it, they can go on your Instagram page and it's on there. And I've watched it and I love it. And I mean, Dom did a great job at, just going along, playing the game. And I mean, it's just a great video. I love videos like that. You know what I mean? Like, surprise proposals, or I don't know. I'm just a sucker for that kind of thing. But thank you. I cry every time I watch it. It's like one of my favorite things ever.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, let's get on to your career. I mean, that's what we're here for. So tell us how young Hope got her start in the game.
I actually didn't start playing until a little bit later. Most girls who are at the caliber start when they're really young, but I didn't start until I was 10 or 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my brother played baseball, and my dad played baseball, and my sister had played baseball. And it was kind of like a little FOMO, like your siblings are outside playing catch and you're just kind of watching from the window. But I wasn't into it until I was just like, you know what, Dad, like I want to play softball, I think. So my parents signed me up for Little League that fall. Mm-hmm. I wasn't very good at all. I didn't want to be a pitcher until I went to a high school game. And I saw a pitcher warming up, and I was like, oh my gosh, she does that thing with her arm. It's so cool. She's like waving it in a circle. I'm like, I want to be a pitcher. And we had no idea what to do. I told my coach I wanted to be a pitcher, and he was like, no, like you're going to be a third baseman. And, you know, I was always a really big girl. I was always the biggest one on the team, the strongest one on the team, even as a kid. And so he was like, no, you're going to be a third baseman and a power hitter. Oh. And I was like, oh, but Dad, I really want to be a pitcher. So Dad was like, you know, okay, like we're going to do it. He watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and basically for the first couple of years, it was just me and him in my backyard. And he used to make me hit the glove 20 times in a row, and before I could go back inside. And then it turned into 25 and 30, and then it was 40, and it was pretty much just me and him. And then whenever it was time to start learning other pitches that weren't fastball, we went to a pitching coach, and that's when you learn the different maneuvering of the pitches. And it was the same thing. It was like every day we'd go outside and I would throw 30 fastballs, 20 changeups, 20 curveballs. And it was like, all right, you just got to do repeat, reps. And my dad was there through it all.
Yeah. So, I mean, can you remember, I'm trying, like, my daughter's 7 years old right now. And I mean, I've been pitching for 35 years now, and I'm trying to get her to like, well, catch outside, and that's the only way she'll throw is, you know, whip, but she doesn't know, you know, the mechanics of it, and, you know, having to step forward and all that. So, I mean, can you remember for yourself trying to learn that side of it? Was that kind of tough, or, you know, I mean, or can you remember? I mean, that's a tough question.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, most of it was self-taught. So I was just trying to throw it as hard as I could. And it's like in my early pitching days, it was like you either got hit by a pitch or you struck out. I would just cry and cry every time I hit a girl. I would just cry out there on the mound because I felt so
I'm
bad.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
It hurt so bad. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. But I was so much bigger than all the girls my age. And I threw so hard in 12U that it hurt really bad. And the girls would cry, and then I would cry. Oh, it was horrible. Wow. And so I was like tired of it. I was like, I can't be hitting these girls anymore. I can't do it. And that's when I learned to, I guess, reel it in a little bit and go for more accuracy over throwing it as hard as I could. Yeah. But I guess like mechanical talk didn't really start for me until high school, when I got a newer pitching coach, a little bit more advanced. And then we actually started talking about using your body efficiently. And then, of course, I really didn't learn a lot of this stuff until I went to college. And I say this all the time, but if I would have known what I learned my freshman year in high school, then I probably would have been so much better.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, once you get in there with the, you know, top tier coaches, I mean, they can change your game for sure.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, let's talk about your high school and travel ball. I mean, is there any big memories that stick out for you?
I would say my senior year. So my senior year, our head coach, passed away like randomly.
Oh, wow.
It was just something had happened. He had a heart attack, and my senior year, we were predicted to win our district and go through this. And we ended up winning our district for one of the first times. And it had been a really long time since our school did that. But I mean, I had known this guy since I was a kid. I went to all the high school camps in middle school, and I'd played for him for 3 years. And so it was really hard to go through that. But our team, we were so blessed to have a coach like that, and we really banded together to do that. And we ended up going the furthest we've ever gone in playoffs. And that year I got district pitcher of the year. And that was kind of, all right, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go off into college. Like, this is what my coach would have wanted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was going to ask about the whole recruiting process. And one of my questions I have here was, I mean, was there a point that you can remember that you were like, oh, I might be pretty good at this pitching thing? I mean, you pretty much touched on it right there. Was that one of the points?
Yeah, I think so. Or it was like, I knew that I could compete and I wanted to compete against anybody, but that moment I was like, okay, I'm ready. But actually when I was getting recruited, it was before the rule change. So I was recruited very early in my high school career.
Yeah.
I had I had committed to a junior college my sophomore year of high school. So 14, 15 years old, making decisions.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for the rule change now because, I mean,
well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Are better for it. Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't imagine myself making a when I was 14 or 15 saying, you know, this is what I want to do when I graduate high school. Like,
right.
You don't know what you're going on at 14 or 15. Yeah. So
but ultimately I had committed to that junior college.
Right.
And then my senior year of high school, the coach of that junior college had gotten a head position somewhere else and did not want to take me with her. And the new junior college coach did not want me committed there. So I was basically dropped my senior year of high school. Like with nowhere to go. I had no idea what I was going to do.
Wow.
And I ended up going to an uncommitted seniors camp with all these other girls who are in the same position as me, like nowhere to go. And signing day was coming up. And I saw Coach Key. She was the head coach of North Texas back then. And I remember I pitched one game and she came up to me and she goes, now let me ask you a question. Like, why in the world are you not committed?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I was committed to this school, but the coach left and went to this other school and like nobody wanted me. So here I am. And she was like, okay, I want you on a visit next weekend.
Oh, nice.
So I went and it was like one door closes, another one opens, and it ended up working out perfectly for me. And now I am where I am.
So what was the visit like?
I'd only been on that one visit to my junior college. So, I mean, obviously the differences between the two schools were great, but my head coach was like, this is our program and this is how we're going to build this thing around you. And like, this is what you can offer to me. And I want that day in and day out. And it just like, I just remember I was like, this is exactly what I asked for. Like, this is my prayers have been answered. This is the reason why I went through all of this. Yeah. And it was just like this moment where it was like, I'm meant to be here.
Nice. So how close to home was it?
North Texas is 3.5 hours away.
Oh, okay. So not that bad then. I mean,
no, not that bad.
Oh, wow. So you get there and what's the biggest thing you remember about arriving on campus?
I think my first day of practice.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, oh my goodness. This is not like, this is a whole new game. And I remember like thinking every single person on this team was the best player on their high school team.
Right.
And like, you know, when in high school you play and it's like, okay, you have to watch out for like maybe 2, 3, 4 in the lineup. Well, it's like every person on the team was their 4-hole batter. And it was like, how do I raise my mental capacity to compete against that 1 through 9 instead of just turning it on for a few batters, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember my freshman year just trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
And just like raising my caliber of competition. And then the weight room, I think changed my life. I'd never really lifted weights seriously or heavily. Right. And the weight room had made such a difference on my movements and how efficient my body could be and my speed. I think that was the 2 biggest things I learned.
Right. Now, going into that, now you said, like, I didn't know the whole, you know, you went to like a camp to get noticed before recruit, like, you know what I mean? Going in that freshman season, did you have like, before the season actually physically started, did you have like kind of self-doubts about, you know, can I play at this level or anything like that?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And another unique thing about my freshman year was we only had 3 freshman pitchers on staff. That was our whole staff. A couple of our upperclassmen had shoulder pains and ended up getting surgery. So our entire staff for the year was 3 freshmen.
Oh, so you're getting thrown right into the fire. Wow.
Right. With no experience. The most experience we'd had before season started was inter squads against our own batters. Wow. And we really leaned on each other through that.
Right.
But I mean, it was it was difficult, very difficult. Yeah. And I was scared pretty much all preseason. I was terrified going against sometimes senior All-Americans. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 18 playing against 22-year-olds. So how do I deal with that? But, you know, it's a different mindset, I guess. You just got to know you can beat anyone with one pitch and run with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, do you remember that first win?
Yes, I do.
I was going to say, I got the line score right here. 4 2/3, five strikeouts.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember we went to North Carolina and it was raining and super cold that trip. And my parents got to watch for the first time me in college. And that was really special.
Well, you're talking about raining and cold. Your first no-hitter.
Yeah.
Like, I went through that and it was 39 and raining and you threw a no-hitter.
That was the worst. Like, that was miserable.
How do you, there's no physical way I could have thrown in that way. Like, when I saw that, I was like, that's impressive. You know, a no-hitter is always impressive, but to do it in those conditions, like, that's amazing. What do you remember about that game? You know, obviously the weather.
That trip was horrible. It was so cold the whole time and it was raining. And I remember wearing my puffy jacket every single inning, the entire inning, and waiting as long as I could to go out there and lots of hand warmers.
Yeah. I'd be like, I would have been like, can I pitch in this puffy jacket?
I know. I remember I had layers on layers on layers underneath. And college is where I learned like how to pack it on and still be able to play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So that freshman year, what do you think was, you know, your biggest takeaway that you would have got from that year?
I think my biggest takeaway was to just like go for it. I remember that season we had been in line for first place in our conference and just had a really bad weekend, but we were so close. And I remember like I could almost taste it, how close we were to a conference championship. And that just kind of set my mindset up for the next year. Like, we're going to win conference and we're going to do it because we know how.
Yeah.
And just like taking that and just being hungry for next year. I remember I was so excited and I had all my goals listed for my sophomore year. And every day in the off season, like over the summer, I looked at my goals and that was what I wanted.
Nice. I don't think a lot of athletes actually do that. And I think it's something they should do is, you know, have those going in the season, have those goals, like have something that's obtainable and you want to do. Cause I mean, if you can visually see it, I mean, it works wonders for the mind. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but yeah.
And we had new coaching staff come in, which was really great.
We got
to see different sides of programs and just really kind of learn and evolve from all of it.
That would help a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump ahead here. 2020. You guys get off to a fantastic start before things got shut down. You personally were 11-1, 1.64 ERA. How hard was that time for you personally? Because, I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty there for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was hard, I think, emotionally, because it was like, what do we do now?
Right.
And then, you know, COVID hits and some of my best friends were seniors and nobody stayed to play their 5th year on our team.
Oh, really?
And so I think that was very difficult to bounce back and kind of like, okay, like, how do I train now? Like, is there even going to be a next season?
Right.
And like, what am I going to do? But yeah, our coaches had these like monthly Zoom meetings, just kind of check on how everyone was doing. And no, I feel like nobody wanted to really like talk about softball. It was kind of too hard, but like I said again, like we knew what it felt like to be so good. And so I guess that hunger, it just helps keep you going whenever you go through times like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, you got word that, you know, you're coming back for 2021. And of course you get that extra season as well, which was, I mean, that had to be huge, big time for everybody involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, going into that 2021 season, did you have like a different mindset or anything? Maybe a bit more appreciation going in after that, everything that happened?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of the seniors came back and for Alumni Day, and it was like they never left, and they got to like kind of pretty much say like, we're so glad we see you guys doing this, and like never take it for granted. But like during quarantine, being in Austin, there's a lot of girls that I played with growing up, and because Central Texas is a huge softball kind of hot spot. Right. And so we all got to kind of get together and train together through the quarantine. So once we got word that the next season was happening and that we were going to be able to play college sports, it was like, all right, let's get grind time here. Mm-hmm. I had a bunch of friends from kind of all over, and we all trained together, and we got to kind of stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Yeah. Because we were going through that 6-7 month quarantine.
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah,
that was tough times for sure. I mean, yeah. But I mean, you start the season off pretty good. I mean, and by pretty good, I mean, ridiculously. I mean, 6-2 win over Southeastern Louisiana. You allow 5 hits and strike out, a measly 21. I mean, not a bad way to start the season, what?
Yeah. I mean, that game was cold too. That game was freezing.
Well, that's what I find funny about the, NCAA season starting in February. Because a lot of time it's, unless you're like in Southern California or Southern Florida, like there's a lot of times in February and like down, like, Texas, Northern Texas, Louisiana, all there, it can get cold.
Wait, that was when Texas froze over.
Oh, right. That's right, too.
Yeah, that trip. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe I forgot that. So that trip, it was like a 6 or 7 hour bus ride home. And we were driving through a blizzard. And I remember at one point, our bus driver was like, I'm going to pull over because I cannot see. And
at least he didn't say, I don't know how to drive in the snow.
Oh, well, she was great. She was very professional, and she kept us safe she like put on an announcement, like move to the center aisle and put your seatbelt on. And I remember like texting my parents, like, I love you. And I was so scared the whole time coming home from that. And then we get home and we lost power for days.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah. Yeah.
And my roommate at the time, she had an aunt who just had like a newborn baby, like 4-month-old baby, and they were moving to Dallas, and their house had no power and it was too cold for their baby. So they came and stayed with us for a whole week.
Wow.
So we had this ice storm. We had rolling blackouts. Luckily, we didn't lose power for that long. But my apartment was in the same parking lot as a Buc-ee's. So every day we'd walk over to Buc-ee's, and Buc-ee's was like pouring out the brisket sandwiches and the sausage sandwiches. Do you know what Buc-ee's is?
Not a clue. And I was just going to say, what is Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's is the best gas station on the history of the planet. It's like a home goods store mixed with a deli, mixed with a regular gas station, mixed with like clothing and accessory. Like, it is the greatest gas station.
Wow.
And it's Texas themed. And they have their own like smokers and grillers in the back.
No
and
way.
They make all their homemade kolaches, and they make brisket and chopped pork, and they literally fed us the entire, we called it the snowpocalypse. They fed us, and I knew like my other girls or my other teammates who were living in the same apartment as us, we like went over and like brushed our teeth there in the mornings.
Oh, Buc-ee's.
We were able to buy milk for my friend's aunt's baby at Buc-ee's. Like, they kept us pretty much the city of Denton alive.
That's unreal. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Wow.
Yes, shout out Buc-ee's for sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. When we're done here, I'm definitely Googling Buc-ee's just so I can see what this is all about. Oh my, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about April 11th, 2021. Did you throw a game that day? Did you ever? 3-0 win over Arkansas Pine Bluff. First ever 21 strikeout, immaculate perfect game in Division I history. walk us through that game. But here's one thing that, doing my research, of course, I see the videos and everything. Did you not know that you had that many strikeouts?
No idea. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah. See, do you find, because this is me personally, like when you get over 10 in a game, you're just kind of like, you just keep throwing and it's kind of like, oh, okay. Then you get done the game. You're like, oh, I had 15 Ks in that game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Well, walk us through it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that game, we had a game plan of shoot the zone pretty much. And my sweet catcher, her name was Ashlyn. She was a freshman. She worked with me so well. It was pretty much just me and her in that game. And I was so locked in. And I know when I'm really locked in to a game is when I'm surprised that I miss. Oh, and yeah. I just remember thinking how locked in I was in that game. And our offense was struggling a little bit that game. So I just remember thinking, like, we got to get back in this dugout. Like, I'm just going to stay out here, get my little 3 outs, and then go back in because we need to score some runs. And, like, I felt like I was so on the same page as my catcher. And she worked with me so well and got me a lot of those strikes. But, like, I really had no idea. I was just trying to get back in the dugout the whole time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So, obviously, was that a change your life kind of game?
Oh, absolutely. So, like, not only my life, but, like, I saw a women's sports event, like, on the news. Like, it was so big for what, like, all of us women are trying to do for college athletics. Right. It was so big. And I remember, like, at the time I was in master's classes. I am getting my MBA currently. But I just started my MBA that semester, and every day I had to listen to, like, the New York Times, and, like, I was on the New York Times, and I remember I was like, oh my gosh, like, I read this for class. And, like, I was like, I wonder if my classmates are going to see this. Like, I wonder if my professor's going to see this. And then it was, like, the New York Times and, like, all these big publications. And I just remember thinking, like, this is so huge because this is an athletic event that for women's athletics, and, like, little girls everywhere are going to see this. And, like, not only that, but, like, North Texas athletics, that's huge. And, like, we were a mid-major trying to break through and trying to, evolve our program. And, like, it was so big for that. Oh,
was it ever? I mean, you were on the MLB network. I mean,
I know.
How crazy was that?
So crazy. I'm like, I used to watch those. Like, I watched those with my family, all this stuff. And, like, my grandma even sent me a news article in the mail. Like, it was so amazing.
That's it. Your grandma sent you a news article in the mail. That's so old school. That's amazing. Oh, that's so great. Well, plus I mean, like you said, you also got, Mark Cuban calling you to go to the Dallas Mavericks game. I mean, like,
and we got to go to a Rangers game. Our whole team got a suite. Like, it was so cool. Wow. And it was just so amazing to see, like, what I was able to do to get the ball rolling. Yeah. And I mean, like, people still talk about it, and it's like, this is the impact that women's sports can have. It gives me chills every time.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Now, of course, the season didn't end how you wanted it to, but I mean, How special was your time at North Texas?
Oh, incredibly special. They, like, that school, I love dearly, and they made me into the player I am, and all the trials and tribulations just set me up for life, and on the field and off the field. Like, I'm not the person I am without UNT. And I will always have a huge part in my heart for the girls there. And I can't say enough about that school.
If you're into online sports betting, well, we have the app for you. I'm telling you right now, I use it personally, and it's helped me cash out at the highest odds possible a few times now. You see, betting lines have different odds at each sportsbook. By using the BetStamp app, you can line shop across all sportsbooks to ensure you are finding the best value available for each wager. It's like using Trivago to find the best deals possible, essentially. I'm sure everyone has used Trivago at one point in their lives. Well, by using BetStamp, that's exactly what you're doing in the sports betting world, by trying to find the best payback for your buck. I'm telling you right now, this app is awesome. Go download it today and use the referral code OTC. Well, what are you waiting for? Do it now. Again, that code is OTC. So, what led to the transfer to Oklahoma?
It was a hard decision to make, but I just gotten engaged and I'd gotten my degree and I had, spent my 4 years at North Texas. And so I was, maybe I'll throw a hand in the transfer portal. And then, when Coach Gasso calls you don't send it to voicemail.
No, you're like, what is going on right now?
Yes. So I remember I was like, oh my gosh, like Coach Gasso's in my email inbox right now. And then she said, all right, I'll give you a call soon. And I sat by my phone, me and my best friend, and we watched and we waited until the phone rang. I was so excited to talk to her because she's Coach Gasso, she's larger than life.
Legendary.
And yes. And so I was so excited for her phone call.
So how crazy was it, going, to the top ranked program in the country?
I could not believe she was talking to me. So whenever she found out that I was in the transfer portal, she was getting her hair done. Like she was about to go on the interview because they were about to go into, I think, supers or regionals into the NCAA tournament. So she was getting her hair done because she was about to get an interview. And she left her hair appointment to call me.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness, like this woman's an important woman. And she's like making time for me. And she just made me feel so special and like I was kind of a piece of the puzzle. And, there's some anxiety that comes with that, being a part of a team that has, this huge name and expectations that, Oklahoma has for its Sooners, or the softball world has for OU. And Coach Gasso listened and she put me in touch with Coach Rocha, who's amazing. I think she's the best pitching coach in America. And they were able to really understand what I was feeling and reassure. And that is ultimately why I chose them.
Nice. So, you get there. What were some of the biggest differences you found when you got there? Besides the level of talent, of course.
I think, like I said before, the biggest difference was, expectations.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like the fans are amazing and they ride or die with their Sooners. And, I just want to make them happy. And I wanted to make the university proud and really just add on to that championship mindset. And I think that was the biggest thing that I had to do was I wanted so badly to make this team great.
Yeah.
And everyone at there kind of brought me along and helped me out. And we ultimately did that. And it was so fulfilling. And another thing that happens in that program is that you learn lessons that make you a better person and not only a better player, but you grow in your faith. And that was also another huge thing is that the team is very faith centered. And I believe that's one of the reasons why everyone is the way they are.
Right.
And it's because we know we're not just softball players. And so that totally changed my whole mindset on everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge. And it's a working recipe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Stats, win-loss record, it speaks for itself. And the quality of people that come out of there afterwards. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, how cool was it being a part of Jocelyn's history ride there?
Oh my goodness. That is a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
I don't think there was a dry eye in the place. And, Jocelyn, I could say just as much about her as a person as I can about her talent. And she's very, very talented. But the reason why is because she's such a good teammate and she's such a hard worker, and every ounce of her talent has come from her hard work. So that is a moment I will remember forever.
Yeah. I mean, that was, and that, you know what I find, I found that was another thing that was putting eyes on the women's game was, what she was doing and going for the record. And I mean, that put a lot of eyes on it, and that's big for our game.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to catch that record either.
No. Well, Tira, I mean, she's, what she got? How many? She got 2 years left or 3?
Yeah, this is her junior year. She has this season and next season. Yeah. I don't know. It's close, but those two grew up together. They were so close. So
yeah,
I know if we had those two going head to head, like it would be pretty special to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the fact that it's always the fact that Jocelyn took over Lauren, it was OU as well. I mean, it just speaks volumes for the program.
Yeah, and now Jocelyn is playing in Lauren's league.
That's right. Yes, we'll get to that WP here in a sec. I got to talk about the Women's College World Series first. I mean, you guys make it no brainer. What was that atmosphere like for you?
I have never played at the Hall of Fame before. Actually, before that season, we played a tournament there during spring break. But before that, it was only at half capacity. So when I was there, I just remember thinking how loud it was during spring break, and that was only half the stands being full. And then you get to the World Series and you look around and there's, 12, almost 13,000 people there. And it's like, I can't even hear myself think. There were so many people. And I know at Marina Hines Stadium, like we sell out every single game, but our stadium only fits 3,000 and it gets very, very loud there. I don't even know if it fits 3,000. It might fit less, but, I remember Lindsay Elam, my catcher, she told me to look up one time, soak it in, and then don't look up the rest of the time. So my very first day, that's what I did. And it was kind of one of those moments where it's like, we get it done or we don't. And I wanted to get it done so bad. Yeah. But also, Coach Gasso let us all know that nothing defines us. And this is our show. This is what we work for, but don't let it consume you because it's not who you are. And so I was right. And that's what kind of helped me through the whole thing. It's like, okay, you get it done or you don't, but you're going to be okay no matter what, because you are a child of the King and that already makes you special. And so just doing this to glorify him will just make it even greater. Yeah. And so that's just kind of what we did. We did it because that's what we work for. And that's kind of our mindset in the whole World Series. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you went out and got it done. And you personally, you'd be named to the All-Tournament Team. Walk us through the final. I mean, how special was it to be on there for the final out? I mean, that must have been just crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the same time I was put in, Jossie gets her standing ovation. It's so emotional. So emotional. And everyone's cheering for her. And Coach comes out and puts me in. And I was like, okay. I don't know if you watched that game, but it wasn't my best outing.
Yeah.
It's like this moment where it's like, oh, it's so close. You can almost touch it. This is the moment. And, I think I got a little out of the moment. But I was able to reel it back in, and it was rewarding. The whole tournament was so rewarding, and emotional, and my whole family got to be there. And it was just so amazing.
Oh, no doubt. Actually, you brought that up. I actually totally forgot about the, Jocelyn being taken out and then you coming in and you pinned somebody and then was there a 3-run shot? I'm trying to.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I think I had walked someone. I had hit someone.
Were you like, oh no.
Oh my gosh. I was like, what am I doing right now? I was like, this is the last out. All I have to do is get one out.
Yeah.
And then I was able to get it. So
actually, I think I remember listening to, I watched the presser at the end with Coach Gasso, and I think she mentioned it, and she like put the blame on JT or something like that. I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
It's so emotional. And it's when you're in that moment, it's so hard to reel it back in.
Yeah.
But I was glad that I was able to for the team. So thank goodness.
Absolutely. I mean, and you got to do something that, you're definitely going to remember for the rest of your life and have with you for the rest of your life. So, I mean, that's amazing. And of course you're still there. Are you not? You're still at Oklahoma.
Yes.
And so
I am.
You took on a graduate coaching position, is it?
Yes, I am. And I will graduate in May with my MBA that I've been working on for forever, it seems like.
Right on.
And then hopefully take that into my future career.
Awesome. So what role are you going to play with the team?
I am currently under our pitching coach, Jennifer Rocha, and I'm just soaking up all the information. I tell her all the time, like, I wish I could have been here for more than 1 year and just learned and been able to soak up anything. And that's what I'm trying to do. And taking that, what I wish I would have known, and using that for our other girls, like our younger pitchers or our other graduate transfer, Alex Storacco. A lot of the same challenges she has, I went through it. And so we're very close and we're able to talk through a lot of the things that I learned. But really, I'm just trying to be a sponge and soak up anything Coach Rocha has to tell me, because I think she's amazing and I want to learn forever from her.
Right. So, I mean, silly question. How's the team looking?
Well, I mean, a lot of people were able to see this year because of the Battle Series being aired on ESPN.
That's right.
And it's so funny because, we split up the teams, however, but it's literally like watching a World Series game, our inner squads.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they do. Yeah. Because they're so talented and they've got something going on.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if not back in the finals again, I mean, there's going to be a lot of surprise people. So, I mean, so season ended. You moved on to play pro in the newly formed WPF. Like I said, with the USSSA Pride. Was playing pro always on the long-term goals list, or was it just something that, just came to you?
It was definitely something that just came to me. It's like a dream, growing up. I remember watching the Pride when Kat was on it and, Lauren was on it. I remember they had come to Austin one summer, and we all went and watched. It was the battle of the best, like Jenny versus Kat. And my mom took me, and I remember just being so starstruck. And it's like, now that I'm playing for the Pride, it's like I'm a little girl again. But it was definitely a shock. I never thought that would happen to me. And, now that my life is set on this pathway, I'm so grateful. But I kind of set a ceiling for myself where it's like, okay, I come here and I win my national championship. And then it's like, okay, I go into the real world and I get married, and then I'll probably just, start my job, whenever I get a job.
Right.
And then I remember the day after the World Series, I got called up by Kelly Crutchman, who's like a softball legend.
Yep.
And she's the head coach of the Pride. And she was like, hey, and I wasn't drafted in the college draft. I wasn't drafted by either WPF or Athletes Unlimited. So I was just like, you know what? It's going to be okay if my career ends. It ended on the highest of notes.
Yep. And
then Kelly Crutchman calls me and she's like, I love your style. I love what you're about. And I want you to come play for the Pride. And I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it was real life. It was so amazing. Well, first of all, just that, she called me because it's Kelly Crutchman. She's one of the greatest players of our time. And she wanted me to come play professionally, which is something I never thought I would ever do for the Pride, who's one of the longest standing professional teams. It's something that I looked forward to as a little girl. I still have my t-shirt that I bought at that game, and it's signed by all the players. And it's it was like a dream come true. And then they were like, all right, well, we're buying your flight. You're leaving next week.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. It's like a full circle moment, really. I mean,
yes.
Wow.
And I had mentioned before that during quarantine, I was able to work out with friends I had grown up with. And one of those friends is Taylor Ellsworth, who played at Texas, and she finished her last season at Arkansas. Mm-hmm. She had signed with the Pride like a couple days before I did, and I didn't know. And so I got to, a girl that I've known since I was 14 years old. She's now my catcher.
Wow.
And we're playing professional together. And we are living together.
That's amazing.
During the summer. And so it was like another one of those moments where it's like, you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I know it was brand new. It's like a brand new league. But I mean, it seems like Lauren and her leadership crew really have something special on the rise here. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Lauren is one of the best personalities. And she works so hard. And I think she's making people really excited about this league. Mm. And, the whole summer, people are coming off of Jocelyn and they're coming out to see her. Like, we're selling out of stadiums for people to see Jocelyn. So this season, it was really about getting the league out there, getting little girls excited about it, and then just kind of showing them like what could happen and what they could achieve. And it's all really, really exciting. And Lauren's doing a great job trying to get sponsors and new teams. Mm. And, people to just invest in what we're trying to do. Yeah.
And I'm sure that it's definitely going to happen. I mean, the fact that, OKC's coming in and Dallas, Brandon Phillips from the, Major League Baseball, Cincinnati Reds has a team now. I mean, that's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only growing.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see, where it's going to go.
Me either.
Yeah. So you're back next year, or that would be this year now.
Yes.
So you're back this year. Is it, yes. So when you signed, was it like a 2-year deal, or was it or is it just a yearly deal?
My contract will be up in 2024. I know there are different contracts that people sign.
Right.
But yes, I will be playing with the Pride this summer.
Nice. Can't wait to watch.
Thanks.
All right. We have a little thing that I like to end the podcast with. I call it player association. I'm gonna throw out some names to you. You talk about them as much as you want. If you have a story, let it fly. It's up to you. Whatever you want to say about them. All right. First one, I'm probably gonna botch the last name here. Nicole Ochonicki.
Oh, my Ocho girl. She is the reason that I got through college. She was my catcher my freshman year all the way. Well, she was actually one of the seniors who was a senior during COVID. So she did not get that year back. And she was already in line for PT school. So she was not able to come back for her 5th year. But she is my rock. She's the reason I got through undergrad. I can't say enough about her. Like, as a scared little 18-year-old freshman, she is the one who got me through everything. And she's coming to my wedding, and we still keep in touch and talk pretty much almost every week.
Awesome.
Yeah, she was my catcher.
Right on. Next one, Miranda Holguin.
Oh, that is my best friend. She's actually my maid of honor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was my roommate that I was talking about during the snowstorm. She was my freshman roommate, my very first roommate when I got to college, staying in the dorms. She was my hotel roommate for every road trip we were on. I cannot say enough about the girl. We talk every single day. She is one of the greatest things to come in my life.
Nice.
And she was my shortstop.
There we go. Next up, I have Jordy Ball.
Oh, my Jordy girl. That girl is a lion.
She seems like she is. Like, she's intense.
Oh, yes. They asked us during the World Series, like, how we would describe our little pitching trio, me, Nicole, and Jordy. Mm. And we said Jordy was the fire, Nicole was the ice, and I was the sass. And that is so true. Me and Jordy. And now that I'm in a different role with Jordy, I've played with her and I'm able to learn from her. Mm. She is just so special, and I cannot see where she goes and what she does. She's amazing. I can't say enough.
Her upside is ridiculous. Like, I can't wait to watch like the next 3 years for her, because it's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing about Jordy is like we were on the same page. She knows that softball is not the end all be all, but look what she's doing for everyone. Like, look what she's doing for little girls.
Oh yeah.
Because of softball.
Yeah.
And I think that is the best part of her.
Yeah. Next up, I have, you just mentioned her, Taylor Ellsworth.
Taylor Ellsworth. She's been one of the reasons that I've been able to leap into this new stage of life so seamlessly. And we're just kind of taking the punches as they roll. And, you know, she's been great for me and I've been great for her. And we're just kind of going through life blind, but we're going together. And that's what's the best part about it.
That's the only way to do it. Go at it blind.
Yes.
All right. Last but not least, Coach Patty Gasso.
Coach Gasso. She is, I think, one of the most incredible women I've ever met. She's so wise. Like she's helped me. It's so funny because she always knows when something's off with me, and it's because it shows through my play. And she's so able to just pull me aside and have a conversation. And like, she's seen me at every emotional, like spectrum. She's seen me angry. She's seen me cry. She's seen me the happiest I've ever been. And she just takes me as I am and loves me for it. And, you know, there's a definition of a godly woman, and she's that. I can't say enough about her. I'm so grateful to have played for her. She's the reason why I wanted to come to Oklahoma. Like, I had to play for that woman, and I'm so grateful that I did, because she turns girls into women. And I don't know if I'm ready to say I'm a complete woman yet, but I know under her that I'm getting there, and I hope she can say the same. Awesome.
Actually, something just popped into my head when you said, you know, she saw you at your happiest. And that, when you said that picture of you when you guys received the trophy and the look on your face, I was like, that is such a great shot of hope. Because I mean, that is just like, wow, I just won the Women's College World Series. That's exactly what it looked like, right? That's going to be a picture you have to get framed on your wall. It has to be.
Yeah. That picture's so funny, because every once in a while it goes viral again.
Yeah.
And people will tag me in it. And it's so funny every time I look at that, because really what was happening was Jocelyn had just taken all her pictures and done her interview with the trophy. And she had just handed the trophy to me. And I was like, whoa, this thing's heavy. And that's what that shot was.
Okay.
Was me getting the trophy for the first time and realizing how heavy it was.
Yeah.
Because it's a big trophy made out of wood and gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that thing is heavy. And then I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I guarantee you.
That shot is so funny.
I can guarantee you this Women's College World Series, I bet you that'll be posted again, and it's going to have one of those caption this photo. You know what I mean? Guarantee it. Hey, if not, I'm going to do it. What a way to end the podcast. Hope, listen, I got to thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. This has been awesome. I wish you nothing but the best, you know, this season with Oklahoma, and then again with the Pride. And, you know, I can't wait to watch you play. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Awesome. Take care, Hope.
You too.
I read the rules before I broke them. I broke the chains before they choked me out. Now I pay close attention, really learned the code. I learned to read the map before I hit the road.
Hey yo, I know you never heard this before, but I'd rather lose a fight than miss the war. And I ain't wishing competition or fishing for it. I'm just living in a system, conditions are poor. I've been lost in the rhythm and misinformed. Too many late nights hitting the liquor store. Too many bad decisions, half-ass attempts. No sweat, no fear, no blood, no tears. I go hard, and I ain't making up no excuse. I'm overdue, I don't do what I'm supposed to do. Cause if you think about it, man, we're supposed to lose. It ain't all picture perfect ocean views. No, I was a first-class rookie, taking out bullies in my all-black hoodie. Man, a mystery, you know the history. Get it or forget it, cause poof, I'm out of here.
I read the rules before I broke them. I broke the chains before they choked me out. And I paid close attention, really learned the code. I learned to read the map before I hit the road.
We say,
ninja. Man a ninja.
Hey yo, I've been high and I've been real low. Yeah. I've been beaten and broken, but I healed though. So many ups and downs, roughed up and clown. We all got problems, but we deal though. I'm trying to do better now, find my inner peace, learn my art form and find my energy. When my back's on the wall, I don't freeze up. Now I find my inner strength and I re-up. Here we go. I know I never been the smartest or wisest, but I realize what it takes. Never dwell in the dark, cause the sun always rises, but gotta make it to the next day. It's a feeling that you get in your lungs when you run, but you're running out of air and your breath won't come.
Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again.